This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All right, some basketball scores from last night in the Big 12. West Virginia beat Iona 86-43. Arizona State beat Cal Poly. It's a close one, 93-89, but they didn't really. I mean, the coaches say, well, yeah, Cal Poly, they're pretty good, but that's not really what they had signed up for, bet a 4-point victory at Arizona State.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I feel like Arizona, how good they'll be this year. Clearly not one of the better teams in the conference, but, felt the same way about their football team.
Right, absolutely. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, great.
Tonight in the Big 12, in addition to Texas Tech and St. Joseph's playing, you'll have Oklahoma State and Florida Atlantic playing. They're in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. Okay, Baylor and St. John's are playing in the Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas Championship. St. John's is ranked 22nd in the country. Baylor is ranked 13th, and of course the Red Raiders and St. Joseph's tonight. And that tip time is going to be about 8:30 tonight. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 7:30 from Brooklyn. Okay, that will be on the air tonight here on Double T 97.3. I was surprised when I read this story this morning. I'll just get your quick reaction to it. It's not a deep dive. But Mac Brown is telling people he's going to be back to coach after this year. He's 73. They're 6-4. And they take on Boston College on Saturday. They're 44-31, and this is his second time at Chapel Hill. They won an ACC Coastal title in 2022. I'm a little surprised that he's going to come back, or maybe that they're even going to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, every time you're talking about somebody that old, it wouldn't shock you when they hang it up, when they decide to retire. But I don't know that I would say I'm surprised about it just because he coached this year. So
no, it's just that he had that one really bad game, and he had basically said after that game he was thinking about quitting and retiring, and then he walked it back. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, I really thought that they were that was gonna be it for him, and that they would go start anew. And I guess that what that tells you is they don't have anybody better to replace him with.
Or he still wants to coach.
But I mean, at some point in time, I mean, it's not like they're getting close to winning anything. I mean, they're 6-4, and I realize people are going to say, "Well, you're 6-4 too, Chuck." Yeah, but your coach isn't 73 years old. You still feel like that you've got a lot of growth left on that tree, so to speak, in terms of this regime.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was just a.
Maybe they think they're going to go 8-4, just like we think we could.
Maybe so. It's just if you're him and you're out selling your program to recruits. Of course, in today's world, we're not really building programs anymore, are we? I mean, we're just trying to see what you can build up this year and then add to it for the next year and then add to it for the next year. It's not like, I mean, some coaches are going to say, "Oh yeah, we're out there recruiting the high school kids because we want to develop." Okay, I get that, but for the most part, you're going out and getting a lot of kids that you feel like can help you win today.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. And maybe you're still seeing obviously the high school kids and the junior college kids being recruited, but then you're seeing all these guys that have played at 2 or 3 or 4 schools going, "Hey, I think I can help you here, coach, and my degree plan will transfer because I'm undecided." I got all these hours, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them, but I can catch the ball, I can block somebody, I can put pressure on the quarterback. I can still throw it. I still got 800 yards in the tank. So let me run the ball for you. Anyway, that all of that just seems kind of like where we're headed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I thought this was interesting too. I saw this yesterday. Arkansas apparently will not be getting any of Jerry Jones's money for NIL. Okay. He was asked about that recently, and he said, well, we've got our own payroll, as you know, keeps us busy, and I don't know that we need to add an NIL to it. And then he said this is crazy. The other thing is the NFL certainly has rules on the football side of things that really keep a finger on what an NFL owner can do in terms of NIL. He's blaming the NFL because, hey, hey, man, it's they've got a lot of rules on this, Jamie. Which, of course, as you know, would make sense. You've got to come through college to the NFL. They keep a close eye on that. It's really difficult to get involved in that aspect of it as an NFL owner. Really.
Translation: did you see my ceiling fall apart? I mean, I'm going to have to pay a new coach to come in here, right? Yeah. And, have you seen my ceiling falling apart?
Mm-hmm. I just thought, it's always interesting for a guy that wants to bend the rules, all of a sudden blame the rules as to why he can't do something, right? Yeah. That just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Somebody asked this or says this with regard to Tech in Oklahoma State. Just run the ball up the middle and hope it works.
You're talking about an Oklahoma State team that's one of the worst in the country at stopping the run. You would think that Taj Brooks would get plenty of touches and have a field day.
Yeah.
On Saturday against OSU.
Well, it'll also kind of help you shorten the game a little bit too, if you needed to.
Unless he's just running for touchdowns every play.
Yeah, I don't have a big fear of Oklahoma State's offense, so I don't.
Doesn't bother you a whole lot.
I'm not dying to shorten, quote unquote, the game. You got somewhere to be Saturday night?
No.
The Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't their offense doesn't scare me, so I'm not we're trying to play keep away.
Okay.
I'm using Taj to go score points.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Keep the offense on the field and all those kinds of things too, and maybe just move it down the field. It's okay to have a 12-play, 8-minute drive.
It's okay to have a 1-play 99-yard touchdown too.
Yes, you're exactly right on that.
Taj deserves that, right?
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
1925, that's where we will start. Red Grange plays his final University of Illinois game. He then signs with Chicago Bears. 1956.
Galloping Ghost, right? I think he's the Galloping Ghost.
Think so?
Yeah.
Maybe? Possibly? Good question. I'll trust you. 1949, Bill Veeck sells his Major League Baseball Cleveland Indians stake for $22 million. Because he was tired of owning a baseball team? No. Because he was tired of the commissioner? No. Because he was tired of his ex-wife? Yes.
She was getting too much, huh? Of the popcorn and hot dogs.
The divorce was expensive.
Yeah.
1956, Don Newcomb wins the National League MVP and the first ever Cy Young Award.
The first ever?
First ever.
Wow.
1972, Red Sox Carlton Fisk wins the AL Rookie of the Year. Mets John Matlock wins the National League Award.
John, he's a Jon guy, too.
That is
Matlock.
correct. 1998, the 63rd Iron Bowl was played. Alabama beats Auburn 31-17 in Birmingham. And in 2009, Alex Torres has 100... Oh, take that back. 2004. I put this one here specifically for Jamie. I apologize. In 2004, Roger Federer of Switzerland wins back-to-back season-ending tennis Masters Cup titles with a 6-3, 6-2 victory over Australian Leighton Hewitt in the final in Houston, Texas.
Nice.
And in 2009, Alex Torres has 163 yards receiving and a touchdown, and Baron Batch runs for 136 yards and 2 scores as Texas Tech beats Oklahoma 41-13.
We could use a little of that on Saturday.
We could use a lot of that on Saturday.
Yeah.
Happy National Gingerbread Cookie Day.
They're okay. I mean, it's not my favorite or anything like that, but I'll eat one.
Yeah, every once in a while. It's if it's soft.
Yeah, when they get hard, they're really not
soft.
fun to eat.
Right.
Bunch of birthdays today. Happy birthday, Kylie Rae Jepsen is 39. The WWE Bella Twins, they're both 41 because, twins. Goldie Hawn, 79. Michael Strahan, 53. Justin Tucker, 35. Marlo Thomas, 87. The Kid, Ken Griffey Jr., 55. Hank Blaylock, 44. And Earl the Pearl Monroe is 80.
Earl the Pearl Monroe. Do you remember him?
I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Earl the Pearl.
And on this day, 1980, 350 million people around the world tune in to television's popular primetime drama Dallas to find out who shot J.R. Ewing, the character fans loved to hate. J.R. had been shot in the season-ending episode the previous March 21st, which now stands as one of television's most famous cliffhangers. The plot twist inspired widespread media coverage and left America wondering who shot J.R. for the next 8 months. November 21st episode solved the mystery, identifying Kristen Shepard, J.R.'s wife's sister-in-law, and his former mistress as the culprit. Yeah. And that, this day in sports history.
All right, your lucky local winning word here at 6:50 this morning from Double T 97.3 in the home zone. All you have to do is go to doublet973.com, enter this word, and you could win some cash from us in the home zone. We'll give some away today and tomorrow, and then we have just a couple of more days left in terms of winning words. And then, Jamie, on December the 5th at 2 Docks, we're going to give away $2,500.
Big day.
That would be good for some Christmas cash. Here is your word today. You could use this from the standpoint of a net, as in basketball net, like the Red Raiders hope to put it through the net. They got about 30 made field goals tonight. That would be ideal, plus some free throws through the net. Or you don't want to hit your tennis ball into the net because the point will go to the other person. But if you hit it over the net crisply and with some ferociousness, you could get an ace, but ace is not our word because it is net. N-E-T.
You can also find the back of the net for hockey and or soccer.
Yes, you sure could. And then Coach Tom Stone and his team
would like to do a lot of that.
Would like to do a lot of that tomorrow when they take on Duke. Okay? Back of the net.
I mean, he found the back of that net. He just needs to show him where it is.
Yeah, right. Here's the net over here. Let's put the ball in the net, right?
Well, no, the specific net. Like, he's very familiar with this facility.
Yeah. All right. That is your lucky local winning word. Go to doublet973.com. Somebody says thanks, and now you have done it to all of us because you're going to hear it here shortly when I say this. Thanks. Now I have the Dallas theme song stuck in my head.
Not what I have loaded.
Shaking my head.
So who shot him?
His his ex-wife's sister-in-law, who was also his mistress.
Ex-wife's
his sister-in-law, who's also
what was her name?
Sister-in-law and his former mistress.
Sue Ellen was his wife, and then
so just mistress.
Christian Shepard is her
mistress.
Name. Yeah. That's who shot J.R.
And it wasn't Maggie. That's different. She shot Mr. Burns.
Wow, that's way more than what you wanted to know this morning, isn't it, Jamie? This person says this on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Oklahoma State Radio is saying senior week against Texas Tech, easy win. It's probably not going to be easy for either team. I'll just put it to you that way. But I think it could be a blowout. I think Tech could really go up there and give it the old Red Raider effort and try. Full 60 minutes of football, complimentary football, error-free, all those things. All those, words that you use, coach speak, right?
All those words that you use.
Yeah, not you. That I use maybe. We'll hear from Coach McGuire just after 7, a couple of things, and then Red Raider football with Joey McGuire. Last edition of the year tonight on Double T 97.3.
Well, do you want him to work on Thanksgiving?
No. Steelers and the Browns tonight from Cleveland. Steelers are going to mop up the field of the Cleveland Browns tonight because Steelers are just, I feel like they're rolling. I feel like they're a team nobody's talking about.
I think they're getting talked about a little bit, but I definitely agree with you that they're rolling, and I think they're a really good team, and I think they're a legit contender.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
That'll be tonight at 6:30 on 100.7 The Score. We'll have Tech basketball tonight. They take on St. Joseph's from Brooklyn tonight. The coverage begins at 7:30 from the Barclays Center. They'll play tomorrow as well. And then we'll have a bunch of high school on the air for you tomorrow as Friendship takes on South Lake Carroll. That's at 5:30. That'll be on 93.7 The Eagle tomorrow. Lubbock Cooper and Walgrove will meet on 100.7 The Score at 6:30. And Idalou and Stanton on sunny 97.7 tomorrow at 6:30. Those are all broadcast times. The kick to follow.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Red Raider football on Saturday. We'll have it for you with Optimum Game Day Live beginning the proceedings at 7 a.m. with the Saturday morning quarterback. And we'll take you all the way through the kickoff. And then, of course, after the game as well, Tech takes on Oklahoma State. Last true road game of the year. You'll host West Virginia a week from Saturday. Game time still to be determined. Jamie, Jeff, and I all come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Joey McGuire was asked the other day about will we see more of quarterback Will Hammond?
Well, we're past to where we, the big deal with him was keeping his red shirt, and again, Barron's and healthy and everything like that. He's been splitting some reps with some different guys. I think, going in and even going into the bowl game, he'll get a lot more reps with the twos and make sure he's ready to go. I forgot what game it was that it might have been Baylor. Barron's helmet came off, and he, was grabbing his helmet to run on the field, and I ended up calling a timeout, because I didn't want to have him in one game and burn a game because of a helmet coming off. I don't have to worry about that anymore. We don't have to worry about him being ready to go in the game. So we'll prepare him, if something happens to Barron these next couple weeks, and then we'll kind of see how the bowl game goes as far as what we're going to do there.
So doesn't sound like it, does it?
Yeah, I don't know what to think there. I would, I think I would be surprised if we see Hammond. As I've told you before, it was something that I'm definitely open to at this point, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen just because I don't know. I mean, I want to win these next two games. Don't get me wrong. It feels 7-5 feels way different than 8-4. Mm-hmm. It really does. At the same time, I think you legitimately have to wonder about next season, okay? And are we going to have is this going to be Baron Morton's team again next year, or is there an open quarterback competition? A, and B, I want to find out if the Tech offense, the way it looked in the TCU game for the most part with him in there, I want to see if that's what it really can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked different. He looked like he made quicker decisions than Baron Morton. He looked like he saw the entire field better than Baron Morton. Okay? I mean, the Baron has been solid. Baron's numbers are good. I mean, your offense has been, if you look at it where you are in the Big 12, you're one of the better offenses in the conference. But I just think Will Hammond has a bigger upside. And does that upside have to be the future, or can he upside us right now?
Yeah.
Can he, bring us more offense right now, more consistent offense right now? I mean, you go back to some of the plays, the sack early in that game that cost you, 4 points really, because you kicked a field goal. And you had a wide open Josh Kelly on the left side, and Barron didn't find him. And I I'm not out on Barron. I still think he's been solid. But I wonder, is Will Hammond better than solid?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Do you also wonder that if you don't say to Will Hammond, there's going to be a quarterback competition in the spring, that he might say, hey, I'm really ready now, and there's a lot of teams out there that would love to have my, quote, upside.
Man, the tape that they have from the TCU game, I bet you there'll be a lot of teams that say, yeah, we'll take some of that.
And then the flip side of that is, okay, so you say to Barron Morton, we're going to have a quarterback competition, and even though he's lifelong Red Raider, he may say, I'm the starting quarterback. I've put up these numbers.
And I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that would like Barron Morton, too.
Yeah.
A lot of other schools.
Right.
So,
right.
This is the super fun, intriguing part now of being a college football coach, right?
Yeah.
Because he has to, what Coach McGuire and Coach Kitley and staff are trying to do right now is they're trying to make sure both guys are here next year.
Yeah. Trying to hedge their bets a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
No question. But
they got to make sure both, and so you got to stroke the ego. You got to give them hope. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I mean, is Will Hammond all in like Barron Morton has been all in? And he says, I don't mind if they decide to go with Barron Morton next year. I'll sit another year. I don't know. That's just not the way that kids do it now, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, and so I don't know what his take on that would be. I don't know. You just don't see that very much anymore. But I guess I'm just ready to find out. I feel like I said, after the TCU game, it was very obvious to me he has, or at least in my opinion, he has higher upside than Barron Morton does. There's just a little bit more to it, quicker decisions. And I guess I'm at the point where I'm just like, Do we have to wait for it next year? Can we find out if that makes us better right now?
Right, and I think you also wonder. Okay, so let's say Barron goes out there and lights it up on Saturday.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm here for it.
But if he doesn't, then you kind of go into the West Virginia game going, okay, well, do you see what the kid's got? Somebody says this. I 100% agree with you that the offense looked way faster. Jamie, I totally agree with what you're saying. It just looked different. Wish Will Hammond could go in like Sawyer Robertson did at Baylor. Jamie, it's tough to say Will Hammond is the guy off one game he played. That's fair.
I agree. But he also looked really good in the other game he played too.
I remember
against
you guys
North Texas
saying the same thing last year for Morton over Shuck.
I was so far out on Tyler Shuck.
Yeah.
Even before the season started.
I'd like to see Will gain about 15 pounds. Okay.
Sure.
And then somebody else says
I'd like
Barron
to see
Morton
me lose about 15.
Yeah. Both guys are average. Why can't we admit that?
I don't even know how you could get to saying that Will Hammond is average at this point. Have you seen enough of him to say that he's average?
No, you have not.
I mean, how in the world can you say that without being a guy that's taken first team reps and had all, how do you know that already?
And then it'll be interesting to see if you have opt-outs for the bowl game. Let's just say you win your last two, or even if you split, or God forbid you lose both of them. And that's probably where some guys are going to go, okay, well, the bowl game's going to give me an opportunity to kind of showcase a little bit, or I don't want to get hurt in the bowl game because I don't want to shortchange myself for either next year or my transfer or I don't think that you've got, and maybe you do have some. You'll have some guys make the NFL.
You're not going to have guys opt out of the bowl game to save themselves for next year, right?
Well, if they're going to transfer,
why wouldn't they just play? I guess if they're already looking for their portal spot, okay. If they're already looking for their new spot, their new team, maybe they would leave already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he's above average, he's playing. Simple as that. Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you, Jamie.
I think Barron Morton is above average. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just want to find out. And
also, this coaching staff values experience more than anything else.
Yeah, and we've seen that. And there's value in experience.
There is.
There absolutely is. Yeah.
Lots of questions, and the it gets a little tougher next year too. I mean, that's the thing that's so, again, just looking back at this past year going, man, it was all set up for you, but it's all gone now.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen. Pull up your Red Raider men's basketball schedule. I want you to tell me how many home losses the Red Raiders are going to have in basketball this year. And if you have any on the list, who they are.
It's really hard to go undefeated. They've done this before. They've gone undefeated at home. So the games in question, I think that you're going to look at and go, okay, these are going to be toughies. Iowa State, Arizona, Baylor, Houston. I'm going to be bold here. I think you're going to lose one. The Houston game is the one that concerns me the most. And that is a Monday night, February the 24th. You're going to be coming off of a Saturday home game against West Virginia. It's not as competitive with West Virginia without Bob Huggins. Seems like, just feels like that's taking some air out of the balloon. I don't think you're looking forward or ahead to playing Kansas because that's not till the following Saturday. I just think Houston's a really, really good basketball team. They're really, really tough. And they're going to be, they're a top 5 team right now. Will they still be in February? Don't know, but it sure looks like they will be. So I'm going to say Houston on February the 24th will be your only home loss.
Okay.
I've got Arizona as a loss. I have Houston as a loss. I don't know that I'm picking Iowa State as a loss at this point. They are really good, but I think you're closer to them than you are to, say, Houston or Arizona or Kansas, if that makes sense. I think your home court advantage on that one will carry you over in that game because that's going to be an energy game. What worries me is that this is the Big 12. It's not intramurals. There's going to be one game in there like UCF was last year that you're just going to drop. It's not one you would pick, but it's the Big 12. And on any given day in the Big 12, anybody can beat anybody because that's how tight this conference is and what kind of gauntlet you run through on a week in and week out basis. So I'm going to say 3, but I don't know who the third one is.
Wow, 3 home games.
Yeah.
We got Baylor on February the 4th. I mean,
it could be Baylor. It could be UCF. Like, there's going to be one game in the Big 12 that just jumps up and bites you because it's the Big 12.
Okay, so I'm going with 2, and I'm going to say the game against Houston will be your first, and I think your only losing streak of the season will come in early February when you play at Houston and come home. That's on a Saturday, and then come home for a Tuesday night matchup with Baylor. I don't love that stretch. Mm-hmm. Kind of physical Houston style of play. You're licking your wounds. It's, kind of that drab time of the year where you're not quite there to conference championship game time. You're in the middle of conference play. Just feels like that would be one that would get away from you. And Baylor obviously is very talented. So I think you're going to be able to win the Iowa State and the Arizona games. I just think early on in the season, I think you're going to be able to get those.
See, I do buy into some of what Jeff is saying, that there is a game that kind of sneaks up on you and kind of bites you a little bit. But I don't think you're going to have 3 home losses.
And to be fair, I also think you can go get one of those on the road.
Yeah.
Like, you can go get one of the games that you're not necessarily thinking that they're looking at you going, okay, this is going to be a tough game, but we should be able to handle that at home. We got a good home atmosphere. Like that,
Arizona on the road.
Yeah, that kind of concept that you can go get one of those to make up for one of your 3 losses. I'm not saying you're going to have like 50 losses on the year either, but it's the Big 12.
It's going to be difficult.
You run through this conference unblemished at home, those lead to Big 12 championships.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty tough stretch there where you play at Houston on February 1st, home against Baylor on February the 4th, and then you go back out to Arizona that Saturday, February the 8th.
Yeah.
That's a really tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And look, playing at BYU, and that's not easy. I mean, they'll have that thing full. And you can't discount K-State either. You play them on the road, and you play Kansas on the road too. And at the end of the season on Saturday, March the 1st.
Yeah, what do you think is legitimate to think about for a conference record at this point?
You're going to play 20 games. I think I would take. This is going to sound crazy when we just talk about, well, you're only going to lose 1 or 2 at home. Would you take 16-4 right now in the conference?
Oh, goodness, yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Goodness, yes.
To the bank.
Yeah, right.
I'm not even going to let you think about that.
I was going to predict somewhere around 14-6.
Yeah.
14-6. Okay.
I was in the neighborhood 14-6, 15-5, 14-6 kind of ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely take 16-4. That would be
I wouldn't
really
let,
impressive.
not even give you an option anymore.
I would think that you would be a top 10 team if you went 16-4.
You know, the games that, I mean, obviously, early on you're playing those 2 on the road, the 4th and the 7th at Utah and at BYU, and then you come home and you play Iowa State on the 11th, and then you're at K-State on the 14th. Okay, so you have 3 of your first 5 games are on the road. And then you kind of get into a little bit of a stretch there where you finish really strong. You finish 3 of your last 5 are at home: West Virginia, Houston, then at Kansas, then Colorado at home, and then at Arizona State. So
we'll see if you finish strong. That's going to be tough to do so.
Yeah. No, I guess I meant you finish strong with the
difficult games.
Home schedule, right? Yeah. No question. But if you only lose 1 or 2 at home, let's say you lose 1 at home, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed if you lose more than 5 on the road.
I don't know. I don't think it. I mean, I think there are 5 good teams out there on the road that can definitely beat you. Yeah.
No. Every one of them, probably, because it's just such a tough league.
Not Oklahoma State.
Yeah, somebody says, well, Tech play all Big 12 teams in basketball. Yes, you just don't play home and home with everybody, but you have 20 games in Big 12 play this year on the men's side.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Chois Woodman, now in for Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning, the 3 of us from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open at 806-771-0973. Choice, I got this from my line. Okay. I don't know if you heard the end of hour number 2. That's your new Morning Drive T-shirt, Tribe. Or Tribe. Yeah, the Morning Drive Tribe. Okay. And then Cowboy Cody says this: so thrilled to be part of the Double T 97.3 clan. Okay, clan, our whole little listening audience there, big giant listening audience, clan, our clan of listeners. Yeah.
This was like Family Feud style.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the number 1 answer for what you got?
I don't know.
I mean, Tribe is pretty good. Clan, I'd probably go gang. I mean,
gang.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about gang. Bucky says
Chuck
this.
and the Gang, I mean, is really what the show should be called.
Yeah. Bucky says this: my dad is an everyday listener named Daryl, but he would have introduced himself to you as Doc. Okay, he is definitely not a normal everyday person, so it can't be him. Love you, Dad. Yeah, I met a new Morning Drive listener yesterday.
Okay.
Daryl. I met Daryl yesterday.
Daryl.
Yeah.
And he admitted to being a
came up to me,
drive.
shook my hand.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty common. That's pretty common.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they come up and say, "Hey, nobody ever says, 'Hey, I hate your show,' or 'Hey, I think you suck.'"
It is funny how that works, right?
Right. I mean, here on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, I get, "Man, you're an idiot, man. You don't know what the hell you're talking about." But then out there,
right?
Oh, man, I love listening to you.
It is kind of funny because I mean that happens from time to time out in public. You meet listeners and all that, but yeah, no one ever comes up and says they hate the show. So I'm just wondering how many people might know who you are when you're walking by. Like, I'm not talking to that guy. I can't stand him.
That guy's scumbag, man.
Oh yeah,
he's a blowhard. All that kind of stuff. Full of hot air.
He knows nothing.
Did you hear my balloon analogy early this morning?
I did not. I was not listening in the 6 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we were talking about kind of the balloon, all the air out of the balloon, and I'm like, well, they kind of related that to like a hot air balloon, and we never even got off the ground against Baylor. There wasn't even any air in the balloon, and then to be like, like what we did for the Colorado, like packing up your balloon and going off to Albuquerque for the balloon festival, and then not being able to get it going, and just it's. I was accused of being on LSD this morning at 6:05.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I can guess who threw the accusation out.
I can't remember.
It wasn't Jeff McGuire?
No, it was a listener.
Oh, okay.
Yates Flooring Center chat line. Yeah.
Are people on acid like? Are they enthralled with balloons like more than normal, or?
No, I don't.
I wouldn't know. I've never been tripping on acid, Chuck, but
I have not.
It sounds like something from your era.
I have done. I've misspent money. Okay, like anybody else. Of
course.
I've wasted opportunity like anybody else.
Yeah.
I probably have. Been in situations where I'd overserved myself.
Sure.
For years on end, probably in some aspects, but drugs is something I never did. Okay,
Good.
When the drugs came out, like at your friendly Overland Park K-Mart parties, when the marijuana came out, I went home. That was kind of my policy. Hey guys, I don't care if you do it. Get your bongs out. I'm leaving. It was just kind of my deal.
Get your bongs out.
Well, you'd see that and you go, I think
get after it.
You see,
there's more than one way to smoke it, Chuck.
I understand that.
It's not just the bong.
You see Carol, the checkout girl, grabbing her and like, okay, I'm out.
Check. I brought this up to Jamie yesterday. You saw there's only one K-Mart left in America?
I saw that. That's sad.
Isn't it?
It really is sad. It really is sad.
K-Mart guy.
Oh, yeah, no, I did. I worked at your, I did the blue light specials. Look up and look around. Kmart shopper spot, that big blue blazing beacon of bargains.
Yeah, the last super Kmart shut down in Long Island, and now there's
really just one left.
There's only one.
Yeah,
it's like a small one too.
We would always also say, at the end, be sure and have your purchases reticketed by the good-looking gentleman underneath the blue light. And as always, we thank you for shopping your Overland Park Kmart.
Yeah.
There was one time that the store manager, he scolded in the monthly employee meeting breakfast.
Yeah.
Scolded the staff for not having enough blue lights. So, me being the sarcastic guy that I am, said, "You want blue lights? We're gonna have blue lights." So we opened up the store and we had a blue light. We had blue lights on the hour and maybe even on the half hour. And then finally, like, my employee number was 173, and like the boss's office was 000. Okay, so we called 000. 173 called 000. And I knew what was going to happen. He's like, "That'll be enough blue lights for today." Yes, sir. No problem.
I don't even know what these blue lights are.
Blue lights were the specials. Like, they'd have the special.
Yeah, it just feels like I keep seeing, blue light to me means a bar where they play great music.
Okay, that's right. But it would be like you'd have the batteries on sale. You'd have special on shoes or candy or something like that. It was basically to inspire people to buy something that they weren't going to buy when they went into the store.
Yeah.
That was the blue light. All right. What is your confidence level for Saturday? Texas Tech and Oklahoma State.
This was one of our midweek mailbag questions.
Okay.
I'd put it at, if we're going on a scale of 10, I'd put it at about somewhere in the range of a 6.5.
Wow. And you're known as Homer Woodman.
I am. There's just something about this game that feels weird.
Why? Because here's where I am, just real quick. I think you're going to blow them out.
I think that's a real possibility.
I think
Chuck.
you're going to blow them out.
I think this game can go so many different directions. I do. I think blowout is a real possibility where you could win this game by 20-plus points, and it would not be a shock at all to me because I think you are much better of a team than OSU. Mm-hmm. I just is that team bad enough to go 0 for 9 in conference play? Are they that bad? I don't think so. So it feels like they're supposed to get one, but they only got 2 chances left.
Just don't need it to be you.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's something that has me nervous about it, but maybe it's just the history in Stillwater.
Sure.
But I
think you're going to smoke them.
I think you are a much better team than OSU. I just don't know. And Tech hasn't been consistent. They've been the least consistent team.
When you see Coach McGuire tonight for Red Raider football with Joey McGuire,
okay.
If he needs some help with the inspirational speech,
okay,
I'd be available to go over on Friday before you guys leave.
Aren't you going to see him too?
Yeah, but I need you to recommend it.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.